when obviously they're not. Well, what is it about that feeling that overcomes you that makes you say, you know what, I think I'm in love with this person, and then 3 months down the line you're like, how could I have ever?
Actually, that's the question to address to Kimberly, and I hope we can get her back because that's really a great relationship expert question. Let me see if I can try her one more time because I'm a little. Let's see if we can get her back. And then I can actually answer that question because I've studied relationships, and my wife is a relationship expert. But I'd rather not answer. I'd rather let our guest answer it. So
okay.
I could too, Chris, but I'm no expert by any means.
And while we're waiting for Kimberly to come back, I just want to say that, Chris, you're talking about going south. Do you know that, River, do you know that Chris can actually solve mysteries in 7 different languages? Yes, he's a cunning linguist. Absolutely.
You have no idea how true that is.
That's right. That's right.
I pride myself on my on my cunning linguist skills.
No, linguist.
Isn't that what I said?
Linguist. Okay.
Isn't that what I said?
No, you did not. I said linguist.
As
in linguistics.
Every now and then I get my words a little bit twisted, so I apologize, people.
You get a lot of things twisted, Chris, but that's another story.
Telling you, my onions were twisted today with my mother, but that's a whole other story.
Okay, Bill, God, who am I talking to? Chris, please give me the phone number through the Skype message so that I can try calling her separately and see if I can get through.
Okay. You guys go ahead and talk about something while I look for her number real quick.
I'll point out my experience has been and what I've learned in studying relationships, and that's when you have the initial attraction, you go through a period that's known as glimmerance. And what is glimmerance? All you see is the good stuff. You see the physical attraction. You see those little sparks that make you want to be with that person, that thing that make you interested. And that wears off pretty quickly. They say the honeymoon is over. So the relationship, a true relationship, has to be built by 2 people who know themselves, who have love within themselves, and have the ability to extend and share that with the other, and to really build it not just based on the initial attraction, sexuality, or the beauty, but everything. The bad habits, the snoring, whatever it is that people find difficult in the other. If you can overcome those, because there's a great foundation in the support and the mutual love, the mutual concern, the mutual respect, then you have something that you can work with. But a lot of people, after that first 3 or 4 months, the spark wears off, the glimmerance goes away, and the interest. Okay, here she goes. I'm not driving anymore. Okay.
Vic, I got to say, I think I'm in love with that word, glimmerance.
Absolutely. It's a great word. Let's ask Kimberly. I'm going to call her right now. She gave me her number to call her on.
Okay.
It's a different number. Okay, it's a different number than Chris gave me. So let me write this down.
It's like a moth to a flame. I think we're just attracted to those kind of individuals. They burn brighter and hotter than other people, don't they?
Absolutely. It's funny because in the Breaking Dawn series, what was it that was attractive about the vampire guys? They would glow during the day. They would glimmer. Here we go. Let's see if this works now.
Here we go. Let's see.
Kimberly Hart.
Okay, we got you back. All righty.
It's so funny. You never lost me. You just can't hear me. And I'm not driving.
That's strange. It must be like a multiplexing on the cell area that you're in then.
Anyways, we're here now. I'm so sorry.
Not a problem. So the question that came up, Chris posed a question, and we didn't want to broach it without you answering it. But the question is, why is it that people meet each other and they have this huge attraction, this huge period of attraction and romance, and after a few months it sort of goes away? How would you explain that?
People don't really understand how love works. One of the reasons I want to have a really serious international discussion about love, because I would really like to have it be the foundation of the new world and not how we've been doing it, is, for instance, let's use a metaphor. Love is like an ocean, huge, out there, consistent, but it's not constant. The tide comes in and the tide goes out. And love is like that. It hits you like a barrel, and your biochemistry changes, and everything is right in the world. You're more creative. You're healthier. Everything works. And one day you roll over and you look at the person next to you in bed and you go, what the hell am I doing here? And that's because the tide of love is out. If intimacy and love are not married, your relationship will never make it. You must have that close openness, vulnerability, trust. There's a bad word most of us won't do. Caring and knowing. If you have those things, then when you're looking across the kitchen table at breakfast and you go, how the heck did I end up with this? And you wait a while, the love, if it was truly love in the first place, will come back in.
Absolutely.
I like that. Go ahead, River.
I just got to say, we're fighting so hard to describe and to talk about love, and I'm just having a really hard time with this topic tonight. I'm having a really hard time with even the concept of someone else trying to define for you, Chris, or you, Vic, or you, Kimberly, or me, what love is or what it should be. That to me, that's just, you don't do that for people. You don't tell them this is the way love should be. This is how you got to do it, and this is what it's like, and everybody should have a right to experience that. And if your infatuation or your glimmerance lasts for longer than 3 months, good for you. If it stays forever, bless you.
I've been corrected by the expert that I live with. The word is limerence. There's no G in it. It's limerence, not glimmerance.
Oh, but I liked it when it was glimmerance. I like that word.
Listen, make it your word, River. Make it your word. Now, that being said, though, River, what about when, and this happens all the time, okay? You can get any one of your friends, and this has happened to them. Why is it that I can know that the guy you're dating, River, is a piece of crap and you shouldn't be with him? Now, you're married and you're in love. I'm just using it as an example. Or Victor meets this wonderful woman. He thinks she's amazing, and I look at her and a bunch of his friends look at her and say, you know what, it's never going to work. There's just something about it that's just not going to work. Why is it that everyone else can see, what's not going to work as opposed to us ourselves? And I guess I'm posing that to our guest, Kimberly.
Yes.
It's a wonderful question, and it's because of how we really work. And I understand River wanting no one to describe love that is individual and unique and beautiful. But there are some really important skill sets that we could learn that would end some of the pain. Life was never meant to be as painful as people make love. And it's because early in life we lay down beliefs about what love is. And those beliefs continually are functioned through your subconscious mind. Doesn't sound really romantic, sounds kind of scientific, but how it really works is that your subconscious mind it's like a computer. It has no opinion. It is programmed with zeros and ones. Your subconscious mind is programmed with intense feelings, intense focus, and that's how life works. And so most of us have our 7-year-olds running our love life. Yeah. And the reason why you and I can look at other people is because we're not seeing through the veil of their subconscious mind. So if River and I would go to a party and River wants to introduce me to some really good guys, and there's 25 guys in the room, and I believe that love hurts, that's programmed into my subconscious mind, I will choose the one guy that's going to take me out to the woodshed and beat on me. And that's because our subconscious mind cannot be overruled. I don't care what your heart says. I don't care what your mind says. If you have programmed into yourself, love hurts, it will.
That's 50 Shades of Pine, by the way.
Go ahead, River.
I've got something about love and where it goes and how it lives and how it dies. And, it reminds me, one of my favorite writers is Anais Nin, and she wrote a quote about this once, and she said, "Love never dies a natural death. It dies because we don't know how to replenish its source. It dies of blindness and errors and betrayals. It dies of illness and wounds. It dies of weariness, of witherings, or of tarnishings." And I just thought it was beautiful when she wrote that.
And I would agree. I do think it's beautiful. And if we would learn how to love ourselves first, and we would really learn how we as human beings really function in the world, if we would learn how to create our own lives and then not have our past create our lives, then we wouldn't kill love with our past.
I'm just going to share something from my personal situation. I'm just going to throw it out there as an example of how we're conditioned to know what love is as children. Without going into a lot of details, my sense of love as a child came from caretaking. And in the process of caretaking for a parent, I found the sense of love. And so my existence was wired that love and caretaking go hand in hand. So consequently, every relationship I've ever been in has been where I've been a caretaker.
Interesting. All right.
Kimberly, did you want to respond to that?
Yes, and you have a belief somewhere in you that you have to earn love. And besides that, your Enneagram drive probably is out of a 2, which is mine. We're out busy loving other people. So my question to you, Victor, how hard is it for you to receive love?
And I'm going to answer that in a second. I think you have your computer and your phone turned on simultaneously, and you were echoing just now. So you may have to mute one of them.
I'm on it.
Okay, I'll let you mute it, and then I'll address your question. And in answer to your question, it took me a long time. Oh, I think we lost you. Did we lose you?
No, I'm here.
Okay. In answer to your question, it took me a long time to learn to receive love, because I was always giving.
Yep, that's hard for us givers, and we hide behind the giving, because receiving, being vulnerable, and that's the most vulnerable we can be, is let someone touch us and risk that they will hurt us. But it's required if we're going to truly love.
You know, there's a wonderful song. I'm a big Moody Blues fan. That's my era. And there's a song they wrote called Question, and there's a line in the song written by Justin Hayward, and he says, when you stop and think about it, you won't believe it's true, that all the love you've been giving has all been meant for you.
Oh, it's so beautiful, and I agree with that.
Yeah.
I think love is the most powerful source. It's the highest magic, and yet we don't spend the time it takes or the energy it takes. We play our golf games, or we learn how to surf the web, or whatever it is that we do to essentially get through life. What would happen if we would learn about love? What would happen if we had conversations about love? What would happen if it wasn't just about romantic relationships, but just how fun it is to love in the world and to risk receiving it in return?
Absolutely. River, you got 5?
Kimberly, I would love to. Kimberly, your book offers a 4-step process to facilitate the change within. Briefly, what are those 4 steps, please?
First, notice what you want to change, and if you have any questions about that, just ask your friends. They've been watching you forever and how you hurt yourself. Do you believe men betray? Do you believe women make you feel not enough? Do you believe that you're not lovable? What is it that you believe? The first step, and there's lots of questions that you can answer yourself in the book, is notice what belief you have you want to change, because most of your beliefs work for you, by the way, or you would be in a different situation than you are today. The second step is to really dig in. There's 7 questions you can ask yourself to figure out that wounded person in you that has been refusing love, because that's why you continue ending up in relationships that you end up in. Answer those 7 questions and find out what that wounded part of you is saying. The third part, forgive yourself. Probably the key linchpin of all change is forgive yourself for taking so long to change, for not knowing before now, and for the damage you've caused yourself and then others. And the 4th step is probably what you won't find, at least to my knowledge, anyplace else, and that is how to literally access your subconscious mind and actually reprogram it, just like you were a computer programmer and you knew how to do those zeros and those ones. You go into meditation, you use the meditation exactly as described, so it's, because it's set up so you can speak the language of your subconscious mind and change. Notice, acknowledge why you've hung on to it for so long, forgive yourself and change.
That's the conscious control, alt, delete, reboot.
That's correct.
Very good. All right, I would like to know, and you know what, but you're right, I say it all the time, I would like to know. I really got to stop doing that. You pointed that out to me yesterday, and you're absolutely right. I realized it as I'm doing it now, and I'm going to stop doing that. So Get Love approaches the issues of love, relationships, and change in a revolutionary way. Can you talk about how these 3 things are connected?
Sure. Humility means allowing every day to be new, so you don't wake up the next day and expect your partner to be the same way, because your expectation holds them in place. They have no room at all to change. Intimacy, close, open, vulnerable, tender, caring, knowing, and loving, those things take practice. They take skill. It's why you probably want to learn how to be intimate with yourself first and then